right, hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Welcome back. It is Homeschooling After Dark. It is me, T-Money, Teaching with Tim. We got in the upper left box, Mary Ann Gaffney, in the lower box, Mary Ann Riley. I feel like we're watching Hollywood Squares here or something. This is kind of cool. I said Mary Lou, didn't I?
What did I say? Riley.
Hey, you said Mary Ann.
No, I
No,
didn't.
he said Mary Lou Riley.
Go back and listen to the tape.
Okay, I'll go back and listen when we're done. Let me try this again. In the bottom box, we have Joan Rivers.
See, it's different on my screen.
God rest your soul.
Mary Ann's on the bottom in mine.
Oh, okay. So in mine, it's you
Well,
at the bottom. Okay. Shadow Stevens in the bottom box. There we go.
That's right. Right. Pull in. Bye.
Massive drugs in the middle.
Oh, I love that. So since last we got together, I have actually taken the audio feeds of these and put them on podcast. So let me give out the information here. If you're following along, the blog is teachingwithtim.com. Working my best to keep that updated. The Twitter feed is @Tim_teaching. YouTube is Homeschooling After Dark, of course. I should probably try to brand everything as one, but you know, that's not the way it worked. And what else do we have? Well, I never promised that, but okay. And then we also have the podcasts wherever you find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those places. It is Homeschooling After Dark. Look for us, please. Like, subscribe, share, and if you go to the podcast, this would really help me out a lot if you could give it 5 stars, 5, and write a brief review telling us how awesome we are, and then you can cut your connections. I don't care after that. Just make it look good for me, because it's all about how you look. So
it's all about Tim.
Well, it is. So, and tonight what we're going to talk about is, we had 2 topics in mind. I'm going to let you two just battle it out. What are we talking about?
I don't care. I can talk about either.
Okay.
Your topic was good, Mary Ann. So I say we go with that.
And Mary Ann just had surgery a couple days ago, so I'm going to let her pick. And your pick is?
Okay, we're going to go with planes and screws your plans.
Yes.
Wait, say that again?
This is what happens. We roll with the punches with homeschooling when life intervenes.
All right, so when life intervenes, and I think, you know, what we're essentially, yeah. So essentially what we're talking about is what happens when mom or dad or anybody in the family faces an illness, faces a major surgery, a life event, something that will take either the teacher or the student away from the schooling. And all 3 of us can raise our hands at this point. I haven't had it yet as the homeschooling teacher, but a few years back I had major surgery on my spine that took me out of commission for the final quarter of a school year when I was teaching in a brick and mortar school. And you know, the way we worked with it then was I'm sitting in a bunch of movies for the sub. And I think, right, I mean, I don't think that's a terrible idea.
Plan, but you know.
Right. And most of us, I think, in those kind of schools, I never recycled my lesson plans from one year to the next because I wanted to keep it somewhat fresh. And I hated it. Every time I'd sit down to write new lesson plans, I'd be like, why am I just not using what I did last year and changing the dates? Everybody else is doing that. But I couldn't bring myself to do it because it would bore me. You teach 5 of the same subject, you know, every day. And then, you know, to do the same thing year after year, you know, I felt it wasn't fair to the students either if I didn't change it up a little somehow. The material was always going to be the same, but the way I approached it, that was just me. And so in that case, I wasn't writing lesson plans a year in advance. I was writing them 2 weeks at a time. You know, it's like the teacher who says, you know, we're going to do a book report and I'm going to be 1 page ahead of you in reading this book because I've never read it, you know, but kind of a flying by the seat of your pants.
That does happen.
And it's fine. It's fine. I actually like reading the book with the kids.
That's better. I was just going to say, we don't do a page ahead. We do it with them.
Right. It's much more interesting.
It's better for all of us. It's fresh. It's like watching a movie together.
Yeah.
It is.
It really is. And it gives you a great insight into what you're doing.
Lesson plans Doing your lesson plans and then just reusing them again is very boring. I can attest to that. Why would you do that? I mean, your vocation is to teach. That's why you don't do that. It's
Yeah,
not
but see,
just a paying job to you.
I
that's your
always saw
vocation.
the lesson
I think
plan.
it's the skeleton though.
I don't know. I always saw the lesson
What were you
plan,
gonna say?
even if I was writing the lesson plan, I always saw it as a guide, not a. We
Yeah,
talked about this
it is
last
a
time.
guide.
It's not a master. I'm not the slave, and I will
Yeah.
deviate in the moment to what I have to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
you will. I've seen
I
you
sure
do it.
will. I
Yeah.
have on the fly.
It's a guide. It's the skeleton. It's I need to hit these
Yeah.
points today. How I hit them, we'll see. As long as they have the whole picture, you know.
Yeah.
So I had surgery on Monday.
Hmm.
That was a blast. Not really, but
Tell us about it.
they used a robot, and
Really?
they took out my left ovary and my left tube. Yay!
Yay.
And whatever
Cheers to
nast
that.
was encasing it. Woohoo! Cheers. So that's why I'm drinking tea and not my usual.
I'm drinking
you-
soda in solidarity.
You look
Thank you.
great for someone who literally just had that surgery done this week.
Yeah. That it's hard
My
to believe. Your color or your everything looks like you're fine.
Yeah.
my belly looks like a giant sand dollar now.
I don't
can
even
think
know
of
what
worse
that
things.
is, but
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
We'll talk about the pepperoni someday, won't we?
Oh yeah, the pepperoni. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so basically I have one child at home still homeschooling. She's a freshman, and it wound up being, what can we do to change our schedule to make it more agreeable for her? And basically it was, well, your aunt's here. You're going to watch some entertaining movies. You're going to learn about some new movie genres. You've already read your books for your book report. And that sounds good to me. As long as you say the rosary for mommy, we're good.
I like it.
That's all I care
That's
about.
the most important thing, because at the end of the day, if the world ends on Friday, more than she goes through
Exactly.
than that she did her math.
Yeah. My goal is to get her to heaven. I could care less if she gets to Harvard.
Yep.
So honestly, and it's taken a little bit of a toll for the week, but you know, we've made up in time. She decided she'd do a few subjects with her dad over his lunch break, and that's fine. I don't need her to rush into things.
Good bonding.
So yeah, it helps. So that's what's been going on. It is an interesting thing for a 14-year-old to learn how to take care of their mother. You know, how to help me get up out of bed, how to help me do some stuff, get dressed. So it's a good thing for her to learn.
It is.
Yeah.
And it changes how she looks at the world.
She didn't have the opportunity to help you with a lot of things in the past when you were
No.
you were under the weather, because there were older kids at home, and
Right. They all
she was
took over.
always protected. She was always you know, no one would we protect the babies.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this is good for her, because even though she is your baby, she is not a baby.
This is true.
Let me
So
let me
she
step in if you don't mind.
literally had me laughing.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to step in and give a little backstory. So, so the both of you are cancer survivors, homeschooling cancer survivor. I love it. It's such a great story, but it's reality. And you say that, right? I'm sure it's not a great story as you're going through it, right?
I'll be right back. Yeah, really. Not the
you
best
know what
story.
It's
you
just
know what I'm
it's
saying.
just another day.
But the thing is, you know,
Second
when
story.
from the other side of it, from somebody looking from the outside, they say, you know, oh wow, that's incredible that you did this. When you're going through it, I'm sure it's not incredible. I'm sure it's insane, you know. But so it was.
I can't say it was insane. I can't say that. It was, you know, I'll tell you what I told my kids when I found out. Because my oncologist insisted that I tell the children that it is cancer. Don't use a euphemism. Don't lie to them. Don't, you know, skirt around it. Just be blunt and come out and say it. And you have to tell them the truth. You have to tell them the whole truth. So I gathered the entire family into the dining room at dinner time, maybe 5, 6 o'clock at night, or so I thought. I had 9 of my 10 kids.
Yep.
All sitting in the living room or the dining room. And I said, listen, I have to tell you, I have cancer. I have breast cancer, but here's the upside. Nobody's going anywhere. I'm going in and having surgery. You know what I'm like after surgery. You've seen me after a C-section. Yeah, I'm in bed. I'm wearing pajamas for a couple days. They'll give me medicine and I'll be fine. I said, and after that, when I kind of get back from there, then I'm going to start chemo. I said, and while I'm on chemo, I'm going to be tired and I'm not going to feel great. And it's going to go on for 6 or 8 or 10 months, whatever, a year as it turned out. But it's going to go on. And I'll have to go in every 3 weeks and get my chemo, or every 2 weeks. But at the end of the day, I'll be fine. I'm just going to look a little worse than I usually do because my hair is going to fall out. Other than that, it's going to be fine. So not the end of the world. People get this all the time. They treat it with medication. They treat it with surgery.
Right.
And I'm going to be fine. And I said it just like that. And one of the kids said, does this mean we can't go to Payless? Because I wanted new sneakers tonight. And I said, it does not mean we can't go to Payless. We're going now. And as we were getting ready to go, Richard walked in the room. Hey, what's everybody doing here? I thought,
Oh, your son.
Yes.
Not our
9
brother.
of my 10 kids.
Oh, that was the one. Okay, so I was gonna say, when you said Richard,
it.
I thought, wow, our brother? That's so odd coincidence because he also had cancer a few years later and did not survive it, pancreatic cancer. And
Different
but
cancer,
that in
true.
itself was an interruption to everyone's life, but not one that you don't
Everyone.
face because you have to. You
People
can't not
get sick.
face it.
These things happen.
I know.
I think other people who are living in that other reality, and I call it another reality because it's not at all my reality, where
Right.
Mommy and Daddy are going out to work, or if they're staying home and working, they're working, and the kids are committed to school. Now, I don't know how you handle when something comes up, when you're all obliged to be other places and your family needs you. I'm not sure how you address that.
I just know how we address it.
Yeah.
We address it the same way we've always addressed it, you know, when we were young and we went out to school. Family first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what matters. Family first. Our religion, you know, our faith, our family, and everything else follows.
And our freedom.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
So when I presented it that way, they were a little freaked out about it, but I said, no, I'm going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's a bump in the road. This is what it's going to look like. You know what I look like after surgery because it was all C-sections and they all knew what I looked like after a C-section. Weekend at Bernie's. Not pretty, but that's okay.
That's a lie.
Well, no.
She never looked like that. She's lying off her ass.
I looked awful. I'll never forget
She
that.
never did. She's a liar.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
So when we did schoolwork, obviously the days that I was in the hospital, nobody did schoolwork. And I felt that the stress of having their mother in the hospital superseded any need for schoolwork.
Yeah.
So on those days, I was very happy with my kids if they were not killing each other, if they were happy to sit at home, bake cookies, take care of each other, watch some movies, say their rosary, take care of each other. Take care of each other, support each other. This is a hard time for all of you. So, and when I got home, it took me, I don't know, maybe a week or two to get back to anything. And then I was okay, and I wasn't good. But just because I can't get up out of bed because I'm too weak and kind of nauseous doesn't mean I can't sit in bed and read. So my
Right.
kids would climb into bed with me and we would read and we would read and we would read and we would laugh and we would talk.
Sure.
I like that. I like that.
That is, I don't want them to look, I didn't want them to look back and say, oh, it was awful.
And as far as I know, none of them say that. I mean, I've not heard that reaction from them. I'm pretty close to a lot of your kids, so I
Yeah.
don't think that
So,
they've
I
never
mean,
said that. But
I don't think any of them none of them wanted to go through that. But at the end of the day, our family,
Does anybody really want to go through that?
so
No.
funny. Breast cancer doesn't really hit the top 5 of stressors in our lives, does it?
No.
Like, really? That's all you got? Step aside. Here, hold my beer.
I
You know.
remember
Here,
you.
Pablo, hold my baby.
Here, hold my beer. I got this.
I remember you, Mary Lou, saying once, I think it was one of your doctors had said something to the effect of, in this day and age, breast cancer is not something you die from ordinarily. It's something you live with. You learn to live with it and the repercussions and the checkups and everything like that. And well, thank God for the advances in science and
That's
medicine.
true.
Thank God we live in the greatest country on earth where, despite everything they've done to our medical system,
Amen.
it's still great.
Yeah.
It's still better than anything that's ever existed. But you had that, Marianne, you had breast cancer, what, 5 years ago?
Kind of. This is This is my sixth year since I was
Okay.
diagnosed.
And then this
Actually,
week,
it was on Mary Lou's birthday that I was diagnosed.
Okay.
Well, technically, they didn't have the what was it? The biopsy back. That came the following week. But I knew when I walked in from the doctor's office that day, and I walked in, and I said, "Well, that sucks." I'm like, "All right, kids. So I've got breast cancer. Like, just like that's what we're gonna deal with. This is where we're going."
Yeah.
I literally, that was it. I just was like,
And remember, you called me and I was like, "So what are you going to do?" You're like, "Cut them off. They're trying to kill me." I said,
That's right.
"Okay."
That's exactly right.
I don't understand. I'm like, get rid of them. They're just, they've served their purpose.
They've
They fed
served their
babies. Now move
purpose.
on.
That's
Move
right.
on.
You know,
Don't
I
have
don't
time
know
for
if I would-
this.
I don't know if I would react the same way today. I know how I felt that at that time. I don't know if I would, I kind of feel like, well, my right arm is near there. Should I cut my right arm off at the same time? I mean, how far are we going to go? The whole breast wasn't sick for either of us. It was a lot of the tissue in the breast. So I just think we both felt more comfortable
I don't,
with the idea of getting rid of it.
I was fine getting rid of it. You know what? I didn't, it was a large enough, 2 large tumors, and there was no point in keeping it. And why would I keep one if I wasn't keeping them both? So suck it. Give me a new
See, I
pair.
kept one, and I had 3 lumps in the other one, so I got rid of
And-
that one.
And there's a math lesson
See?
for you in
I'm like,
symmetry.
Some more. Some
Some and
went
some
away.
more. Some went away. So we're referencing
Exactly.
the Saxon math
Thank
problems,
you.
the word problems. Did either of you see my video
That's
that I
right.
posted this morning?
Yes.
The
No,
one
it
on my
was at work.
Facebook. Oh my goodness! I'm watching I'm looking at the math book with the kids. Saxon Math 76, and it's talking about later. Wait, I've got the video. Let me just look at it real fast. It was something like lesser sum difference or something like. Let me see what it says, and you can see where this is going, Mary Lou, because you know what those letters are. Larger, smaller difference stories. And I'm looking at the book, and I did. Okay, the larger minus the smaller equals the difference.
Means.
And then the top of the next page, John Saxon says, "We will use in this book the term LSD to refer to the larger, smaller difference."
Yes.
So I start laughing. The kids say, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "Psychedelic drug, 1960s, Timothy Leary." And they said, "What?" I said, "People would take this and they would hear colors and see visions and whatever."
Yeah.
And I pulled up a video on YouTube. Thank God for YouTube, of these, panoptic, weird shapes and stuff. And the kids are just laughing their asses off.
That's true.
Well,
Why
we'll never
wouldn't they?
forget this lesson on LSD, will we, kids?
True, they'll remember it forever.
And I
They
hope
will
they
have
do.
memory.
We laughed so hard at that. I loved it. We had a good time, and they got the lesson, and they went through it. It was fun,
So
now
now for me, Maeve
ahead.
gets to go through what my kids went through the last time, where she gets to take care of mommy, and she didn't get to take care of mommy last time.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it'll be a short stint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't have to go through chemo. We won't know until they give me back my results. And either way, for the next several weeks, I can't do anything except, move from this chair to the other chair or to the couch. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, everything's pretty good. I'll take my medicine. I'll behave. Please God, I don't have people making me laugh till I cry like my daughter did yesterday.
I will try to avoid FaceTiming you then if you.
No, it's fine. The further away from the surgery, it's fine. I just keep remembering the green bunnies, Marilou. When you had a C-section and I didn't know about having C-sections yet, and we made her laugh. And she couldn't stop laughing, and we were laughing,
so
and she's
painful.
crying.
Oh my
It's
God.
horrible.
When you have
I have-
abdominal
Once you
surgery,
start,
I have to interject here.
to Barbara,
When you
when-
have had
when
abdominal surgery,
little member
it
had
is.
just come out.
Oh yeah. The Austin Powers movie.
And she was like, no, stop.
No, I have to say this.
once you've had abdominal
Anybody-
surgery, it's hideous.
Anybody who has had abdominal surgery, and I have to say also, I love my sisters. I love them all. We've always been kind of tight with each other. So a few years back, I decided, well, they've all had C-sections. Let me have abdominal surgery too. It's not quite the case, but what happened was I wound up having to have my spine fused for the second time.
That's
And
so
this-
painful.
This doctor decided, well, and he's a Mayo Clinic trained spine surgeon, the only one in Texas. So I'm like, I'll trust what you're doing. And he says, we're going to start out by cutting down the front, going through, moving the aorta, going to the spine, doing all this. I said, okay, whatever. He goes, I'm not done. But wait, there's more. I'm going to stitch you up. We're going to roll you over while you're still under. I'm going to cut the back, go in that way, fuse it all. I said, oh, okay, whatever. He says, you'll be in 2 nights. I said, well, 13 years ago when I had this, I was in for damn near a week. But he says, times change. I said, fine. My daughter was 4 at the time. She had I remember this because the day I went in for surgery, she picked up her very first pair of eyeglasses. And that was after I went in for the surgery that day. So when I came to 2 days later and she came to see me, Carla kept her away from the hospital for the first day, I think, to give me some rest or whatever. But she brought her by and I looked at her and said, are you wearing glasses? She says, yes. But it was really kind of neat because she wanted to be my nurse. She wanted to take care of me. And I said, oh, that's very sweet, but I don't think you can lift my 200 pounds off the bed and, help me into the bathroom. That's not going to happen. But I still, I got that.
That was Jim's job. And that
The first
Remember
time
that?
out, yeah.
Yeah.
The first time
I
out,
remember.
that was Jim's
remember
job.
Mom.
I do remember that.
Was he sure?
Oh,
You
you know what I remember? I
Like,
remember
oh my-
talking about the laughter. I remember somebody, might have been you, might have been him, came into the room and made me laugh. And it was awful with the back surgery, but the second time around, having had the abdominal surgery part of it as well,
Now you know.
I really regretted all those times that I went in after your sections and tried to make you
Every time you make us laugh. Every damn time. Sherry, it burns. Ah. I'm like,
I still,
Jim, stop.
I still occasionally in the morning I'll get up out of bed and I'll look down and I'll ask my wife which one of us had the section again because I've got this massive scar right down the front of my abdomen. But
Yeah.
but I'm alive. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing. I'm alive. I'm in relatively good health, and life goes on. And I think that's just how we were raised to face adversity. Do you have a choice? Are you going to lie down and die? Or
Hell no.
are you going to go forward? I don't know.
Gotta go to mass and move on. But
Happiness
isn't
is
that
a
what our
choice.
daddy taught us?
Happiness
Yeah.
is a choice.
Uh-huh.
We all know that you could win the lottery and still be miserable.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, we know somebody who's like that.
We know somebody like that, don't we?
Ow,
Yeah.
ow, ow. And now,
I don't know if she's watching this, but
sweet Jesus, don't ever. Don't
Okay.
ever.
We'll just let that one pass.
Oh my Lord. It's just true.
So-
That's all you need to know.
That's all. So, no, being happy is a choice. Everybody has something going on in their life. Everybody has something major going on in their life every day of the week. When I tell you that the fact that we had these major cancer scares or cancers where we had treatments and, you know, it kind of upheaval for a year of your life, to say the least. And that, that really didn't, you know, it really wasn't more than kind of a bump in the road.
We got past it.
We got past it. In fact, I've gone to the doctor since then, and when they ask, you know, for your medical history, and you forget to give them cancer.
Nice,
Your daughter has to say, "Mom, you had cancer." It's like you're failing a test. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, so I had breast cancer. You know,
whoopsie.
It's not the end of, it's, first of all, having breast cancer is not the end of the world.
No. Having cancer is not the end of the world.
You can't let something, the fact that you wind up with some major health issue cannot,
Don't get mad at me, I'm
and
just
will
so
not
tired.
block you from teaching your kids.
No.
There's no reason for that.
If anything, I think it will make their educational experience richer because they have faced a real life experience. People get sick. I hate to say it, but people die. And when we mentioned Richard, our brother, you know, he died of cancer a few years back. We all stopped what we were doing. I was down here teaching, you know, students at a school in Texas. I got the call between periods at school, and I stopped what I was doing, and I did what I had to do. I got in the car and we drove 22 hours up to New Jersey to be there and to help with his funeral. That's what you do. That's life.
Yeah.
And I didn't shield my kids from that. They had never really known their uncle, but because, you know, they were down here and he was there. But he was part of our family. Exactly. And they, you know,
there's nothing to fear from it. We know where we're going. It's not like, oh no.
People die.
We know where
People
we're going.
die every day. And you know what? People in our family die every day, it feels like.
Apparently with us more than others.
True.
Just be warned. But we are good dealing with it.
It's true.
Because we know where we're going. And that leaves me to have to say I have to go.
And I'm actually, I was just going to say, I'm going to have
Because I'm really bad. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
exhausted and I have
That's
to take
okay.
medicine.
We're going to wrap it up here because I'm getting the notice from Zoom that I've got like 5 minutes remaining before they want me to upgrade. I'm resisting at every step, you know? But that's okay.
And I'll pop off if you want.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We'll wrap it up there. I think the takeaway from this is that when life comes at you, deal with it. It's not, you know, what is more important? Keep that in mind. Is following a lesson plan in a book and sticking to a schedule with tests and God knows what else, is that the most important thing? Or is living the life that God called you to live more important? And, you know, as I always said, when I was sick and teaching in another type of school, brick and mortar, if I called out sick last minute, I had movies waiting in the, you know, in the desk at school for the sub. Put some movies on for your kids.
Yeah.
They will learn something. It's not the end of the world, and don't regret it for a second. And keep prayer and God at the center of your life. And I think that's all we can say about it, right?
Life will be good.
Yeah.
No, I could talk for hours.
What?
She could talk for hours. I cannot because I'm going to fall over.
Hours.
Well, no, you're right. I could talk for hours too, but not without paying Zoom for it.
Right. Got it.
So.
I have to go because I'm now in pain. I love you.
I love you. Take care.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye. And we're going to give your Twitter, Mary Lou. Do you want to do that?
Give my Twitter. I don't even know what my
Do you
Twitter
remember it?
What's my Twitter? Do you know?
Well, how about this? Before I go, show us the cross stitch again.
Oh, sure. Yeah, this is what I'm busy working on because, you know.
I love it.
You know why I'm working on this? Because it is soothing and because it is simple and I can do it right here. It's very portable. And because my hands are busy and I'm not eating all night while I'm watching TV.
That is smart.
So that's, I mean, it's not at all about the product. I mean, that's fun, but it's not at all about that. Listen, your kids are going to eat every day, whether you're sick or not, and they're going to have an education every day, whether you're sick or not. You know,
truer words have not been spoken. I remember when I was potty training my kids, my son, the older one, and I called you and I was so frustrated. I was practically in tears. The first day I'm like, I can't do this. And you said, have you ever met anybody in high school who didn't know how to use the bathroom? I said, no. And you said, relax, it's going to happen. Don't worry.
It's true. My mother-in-law told me that. She pulled me aside because everybody else was kind of, the other sister-in-laws were all about, what do you mean they're 2.5 and they're not potty trained? And I was like, what? And she just she nudged me and whispered in my ear, basically. She said, you know what? I had 5 kids and not one of them walked out of here at 18, not potty trained. They'll be fine.
God bless Zella. That was great advice, and I'll pass it on through the years.
Right? We've remembered that often.
I love it. So
yeah.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person next week. We're excited.
3 more days.
Coming for a visit, and we're going to do some fun stuff here in Texas. And
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we've got it all mapped out.
We'll do one next week while I'm down there.
I think we should. It'll be lots of fun. All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon. And once again, everybody, it's teachingwithtim.com, at Tim_teaching. And then the podcast and the YouTube are both Homeschooling After Dark. So please like, subscribe, share, and we're good. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Bye.
Bye.